I basically dated a guy that was a mean girl. And it was like, he would just say backhanded things to me all the time. And obviously that could easily wear you down. I feel like a lot of guys do that. So what I did was, anytime he gave me something, if I found any truth in it, I would take it and I would change it. And by the time I was ready to leave that relationship, I was fully healed, way better person than I already was. Yeah, I feel like it just helped me a lot. And I feel like that's just good advice if people are in like, I don't know, like mentally or emotionally abusive relationships. I feel like that's the one solution that worked for me.
What were you doing to him that was abusive?
I wasn't doing anything.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you said you were in an abusive relationship, so I thought you might have been the abuser.
No.
Did you hit him?
No. That was
Financial abuse?
a reasonable question. No, he was just a mean girl.
Oh, he was a mean girl.
Yeah.
What was he doing that was
mean
abusive?
girls act? He would just say, like, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
We're in the grocery store and it's crowded, so I make sure to stay out of everybody's way. And then we'll get in the car and we'll be like, you're in everybody's way. Like, just make me feel incompetent over time. It got to the point where a few years into our relationship, I felt like if I didn't have him, I'd be homeless on the street.
Wait, but hold on. So
I feel like
wait, hold on. So wasn't my question, what did he do that was abusive? And your first example was you went to a grocery store and you yourself were like, oh, I don't want to be in people's way. And then he said,
No.
Whoa, you really got in people's way? That's the first example you give when I ask how you were abused?
No. What I said was, this is an example of like what he would do.
Hold on, let's explore that thing you just described though. Okay. Is that abusive?
So
him saying you got in people's way?
It's kind of condescending.
I don't think condescension is abusive.
If we were in the store and you were making sure to stay out of everybody's way, and then we left, and I was like, you were literally in everybody's way the whole time
was
you were
he
there.
saying it as a joke?
No.
So he was getting on your case?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
like
weird,
constant,
but I don't think that's abusive.
Shit. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. It gets old. And
well, okay, hold on.
So
he's annoying.
One-off.
I don't think being annoying or a jerk is abusive.
I feel like over time, if it's intentional, I feel like it can definitely be mentally abusive.
So wait, he was like, whoa, you really got in well, did you get in somebody's way?
No, I literally...
That's what she's saying. She didn't.
That's just an example, but it's like...
I mean, you kind of seem like someone who gets in people's way, though.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, I'm pretty burly.
You're a fucking abuser? Oh my God.
I'm pretty burly.
Wait, did you, like these little pecks? It sounds like there's a bunch of pecks at you, right?
Yeah, it just
So wait,
old.
do you say things back like...
I actually didn't for a long time. I was just like...
So he doesn't even know that it's bothering you?
Well, at first, because I just thought something was wrong with me. There was another time where...
Well, that's not... He might have been a jerk, but that's you thinking... When women think something's wrong with them, that's actually not a good excuse to make it about the person. Because let's say it's not a dude. Let's say it's your friend. If you don't say it, hey, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like, what if they just don't know? Like,
no, I agree with that. Yeah.
So what's like the threshold? Because you're saying it's abusive, but it sounds like you're abusing yourself by not just saying something.
Yeah, and then it just adds to it because it's just like you're stupid, basically.
Yeah.
And I remember one time after work, I cleaned the entire kitchen. I redecorated it, whatever. And then he came home. I was so excited. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I know he's going to fucking ruin this. And he came home and I was like, hey, like I have a surprise. And he was like, what, you cleaned the kitchen? You know what I mean?
Hold on. Wait.
Like, he didn't give a shit.
He was like, isn't that obvious?
Yeah,
Wait,
and I spent hours.
Were you working at the time?
Yeah, I worked full time.
Did you guys shared, you guys were living together, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you guys splitting the bills 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what did he say exactly? He said...
He just didn't give a shit.
Wait, hold on. He didn't... So what... Can you be more precise in what happened?
Yeah, so say you...
No, tell us what happened. Like what actually happened.
Sure, so
you cleaned
after
the whole
work...
apartment.
Well, no, I cleaned... So our kitchen, like, I redecorated it. I cleaned every little fucking, like, crevice of the kitchen. And I was really excited about it. And I knew in the back of my mind when he came home and I told him, like... If I got excited, it would just be, like, stupid. So yeah, like when he came home and I was super excited, he just was like, who gives a shit, basically.
No, not basically. What did he do?
He said he came in and he was like, I was like super excited, and I told him, I have a surprise for you. And he's just like, what, you clean the kitchen? And then I was like, at least, it just sucks because if somebody does something for you, you could at least entertain the thought of like appreciation.
I mean, I understand, but
I mean, I'm not entitled to anything.
It's not abuse, but I mean,
like over
really
time,
condescending.
if it's deliberate over time, that's all.
Is it-
You're
that's a
choosing
lot.
to stay with him though.
wait, but
I agree.
sorry. Is it possible that you didn't clean that well?
Possible. I tried my best. At least I tried my best, though. You know, that deserves something.
No, that's valid.
She laughed.
That
She's a
deserves-
comedian.
That deserves something.
See how lighthearted she is? Look at her eyes.
Yeah.
I'm very jovial.
Hold on.
All right, that was
Look, so it's like, it's kind of, wait, did you ever get a haircut and he came home and he didn't say anything? He didn't notice that you got a haircut? Is that abusive?
No, he was constantly up my ass, too. So it's like he was constantly up my ass. I couldn't really do anything. That's a whole
But like,
different
okay,
facet
here's
of
the
it.
thing. I feel like when you lead with my ex-boyfriend was abusive,
That's a little
You're
dramatic.
thinking it's soul.
no, that's what you literally said.
I know.
So it's
no,
dramatic.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not
Okay.
accusing you of being dramatic. I'm saying what I said was dramatic. I'm saying abusive.
That's what we're trying to focus on. Like,
What?
Are you being super hyperbolic then?
Wait, how can you be hyperbolic though about?
I feel like abuse was a dramatic term for me to use, for me to choose. I'm not saying
Abuse.
that
Crystal
what you're
abuse.
saying
No,
is
but
dramatic.
in the this wasn't just some sort of like accidental slip of the tongue. In your pre-show notes, you're like, how to leave an abusive relationship. You have advice, and you're now talking about this guy who said that you got in people's way at the grocery store, whether you did or not, whatever. Let's say you didn't even, and then you cleaned the kitchen, and he didn't acknowledge. I'm sorry, that's not abuse. That's not abuse. Maybe
those
he's a
things
jerk.
build up and make you feel incompetent and stupid. So it is kind of abusive to her.
Wait, it's
like
what?
a mental-
on a consistent
for her
basis.
personality, it is.
On a
Because
consistent
the
basis?
the way she would take it is personal.
No. So why do
then-
we have to coddle?
Because
What?
at the
You
end
don't.
of the day, I mean, the fact that he probably had no idea
it's the same way with
that
men.
his words are so
well-
affecting her
Wait,
in a
stop
very
playing with
negative
it.
Oh,
Just
shit.
put
way.
it on the ground.
Wait, why isn't? Oh, look. If she doesn't say something, is very clear with something like, stop doing that. That doesn't work for me. Like a man could just as well, using your standard, say that's abuse and be like, it's abuse for you to let this all build up against me and not say anything. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to
Have
defend
you
that.
said something? Have you confronted him about
So
it?
eventually he was like, obviously he was like, I can't read your mind. So I would start saying things like that, and then things wouldn't change with him, but whatever. Like that's why I wanted to bring it up, because a lot of people deal with that shit. It doesn't have to be your significant other. It could be somebody around you that's just constantly knocking you down. But if you find the truth in what they're saying, why am I insulted by that? You can change it, and then you can become a better person. And by the time you're a better person, you don't even want to be around that person anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, now you're just going to know if, earlier on with people. Like,
Yeah.
But
I'm
again,
just
I
saying
agree
it
with
helps.
Brian. I wouldn't say that's abuse. I think
Sure.
that's, I hate to shift it all on you, but I think the toleration of things is actually wouldn't call it abuse, but if you're going to call that thing abuse, I would just say that's like self-inflicted abuse. Really.
And I feel like people take advantage of that. Not that it's still your problem at the end of the day. And that's what I meant by everything I just said.
Yeah.
Is you do have the power. Like if somebody's doing that, you can change it.
It is
Basically,
abuse.
and just how to
Wait,
do
what?
it simply.
Oh my
It is
god.
abuse.
What?
This is literally like.
It's just
Wait,
verbal
you think
abuse.
you
If she
think
says, "Hey, I don't like this. Please stop," and you keep doing it, and you keep harassing her with those same
Bro.
behaviors, that is abuse.
Well, there's a form
so
of
just
verbal
to
abuse.
be clear.
though.
Hold on. So just to be clear, one of the examples she gave when I asked her to give me a better example of the supposed and alleged abuse was, I cleaned the kitchen, my boyfriend came home, and he did not to a satisfactory degree
Yeah, because some people
acknowledge
do that
me
on
cleaning.
purpose. They do that on purpose to manipulate you.
Let's go back down to reality. A boyfriend not acknowledging that you cleaned the shared living space, that's not abuse. Maybe I'll accept it's inconsiderate, maybe. I actually don't think it's
But
even
she's saying
that.
that it's also on so many other levels that this is happening.
Yeah, like it's like
Like, it's not just like her.
Yeah, but your
Okay.
standard for abuse is super low. Like you
Yeah.
said, doing something and someone asks you to stop and you keep doing it. I crop dust my wife over and over again.
What does
She
that-
says stop.
What does that mean?
She told me to stop.
Talk to me like I'm dumb
She,
for a second.
I fart
Explain crop
and I
dust.
trap her. Okay.
so you don't have any responsibility.
Oh, boy.
No, I will
Because
not
you-
stop.
Okay, well,
Is that
Well,
abuse?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah, because you know she won't leave you.
Like, I
And you're just
have a-
crop dusting her.
What? That's
you're just
why
crop
it's-
dusting her all the
what?
time.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
What?
Like, I'm gonna come on here and be honest with you. I like to say a lot of like weird slurs or whatever sometimes. You know what I mean? And I use that against my men. And they tell me all the time, like, hey, stop. Like, this makes me, uncomfortable, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And it's like something that I just do. And I understand that it's abusive in their head because they don't like it. They don't.
But
they
you keep
ask
doing
me
it.
to stop.
But you keep doing
know?
it, right?
Sometimes it just slips out. But if I feel like it's too disrespectful, like the other day I called one of my dudes the B word.
Okay.
And he was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm sorry.
Can I
But
add-
like even
I
to
mean-
this
Wait.
point, it is abusive.
Now I want to know what the B word
It is abusive. It's
Biatch?
degrading.
Wait, biatch?
Wait.
Yeah,
Is it-
bitch.
Oh,
Nah,
you can
that's
say that.
that's probably okay.
But
We try to avoid it, but it's probably fine.
No, you're
Wait,
fine.
what
but-
were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a form of it that it could be verbal, but I wouldn't go to the extent and say it's just straight abuse. Kind of like you said, that makes your standard low. Because what does that make other people's situations? Like, I used to get like beat the shit out of, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that's abuse. Like someone could be mean to you and be inconsiderate, not think about how you're feeling, whatever. But that's kind of just mean. I wouldn't say it's abuse. Like, verbal abuse is one
Yeah,
thing,
it's been-
but
Yeah, so it's in a
Harassment
different.
Well, it's
Mean
kind
and
so it's
inconsiderate.
different.
Are you saying you ain't seen shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
A
I
little
get
bit,
it.
man.
You don't know
Like,
that.
You know what
That's
this
insane.
reminds me
If
of?
harassment is still abusive, regardless.
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
No, it's
I think-
still
considerate.
abusive.
I think
I'll be right back.
being annoying or being inconsiderate, I don't think these are good
So if
things,
someone
but I don't
started
think it's
just
abuse.
popping up outside the door like every day, you're not saying that that's abusive.
No.
That's
Wait, what?
scary,
No, it's-
right?
no, harassment is
No,
illegal.
that's harassment.
No, it's
therefore,
legal. That's illegal. That's
It doesn't matter if it's
No,
illegal.
no, no.
It's still
no.
abusive.
You don't go to court
It's
and the.
still
Hold on a
abusive.
second.
Some people
Hold on
don't
a
give a
second.
Wait,
fuck
when
about
did
that.
when did we even forward the position that it's acceptable to like stalk somebody?
Right.
We never said that.
You guys are sitting here saying
Does the
harassment
judge?
isn't
Does
abusive.
does the
we didn't
judge?
say that.
Does
What?
the judge say, and we order you, this fine or this jail time for abuse or harassment?
It's the same thing. What are you talking
No,
about?
no. There's certain activities, and you call them harassment, right? It's not. You don't let there. It's like.
Harassment still is another way of saying abusive
I don't-
actions.
Well, you're violating
Are
something.
you-
No, you're violating something.
You're
Abuse.
using-
No. You could do legal abuse, right? From your perspective. Legal.
Yeah.
Okay. So
do it all the time.
So the thing that makes harassment a thing is that it's illegal. It's a legal problem.
Okay.
But you can harass people online, and like you're gonna have to find this threshold of when something's abusive or not. And she's telling you, you're really diminishing what abuse actually is for
I
other
hear
people.
what you're saying.
Really.
And I'm sorry if it comes off to
No,
you
I
that
see
way,
what,
because
I
I'm
see
not
what you're
saying
trying
that
to say.
whatsoever.
I'm just trying to make it clear. Abuse is assault. Abuse is putting hands on someone. Abuse is hurting someone else physically. Abuse is not annoying somebody and pissing them off.
Mm-hmm.
It's hitting somebody, dude. It's hurting them. It's trapping them. Like, there's so much shit. It's crazy. You're calling being outside somebody's room of fucking abusive. It's crazy. Really?
Yeah, no. A lot of times, whenever people are that crazy to actually continue to give you a reaction or whatever, or try to force you to have a reaction or whatever, It's because they're trying to hurt you in some sort of way, whether it's physical, mental, whatever.
Sure.
Like that's part of like cults and stuff like that. They're literally doing abusive shit to you to get you into the cult. So like make it make sense to me.
Wait, hold on. So okay, people showing up at your place of residence uninvited, you ask them to leave, they keep coming back.
That's abusive, yes.
Yeah, that's harassment.
That's harassment.
Abusive. But
it's
that's
a scale,
not what
right? It's a spectrum, right?
Yeah, but we're
so
not.
So it's on still the thing of abuse.
We agree
like,
with you.
Matter.
We agree with you. But the example she provided where the boyfriend didn't acknowledge her cleaning and maybe was just like, that's not abusive.
Or shit communication.
I just don't think that she wants to devolve into like actually stuff that happens to her if it triggers her. But something like that, like I can understand.
Her boyfriend
'Cause it
didn't
happens all
abuse
the
her,
time.
but the relationship long term was abusive to her.
I'm
Because
not
if
going
she
to
asks
grant
you to
that.
change,
I'm not granting
what
that.
I don't care.
What
I'm not
my
gra- I'm
take
not
is
granting
that,
that, Tiffany. Sorry.
the only way that comes to my mind is when she started thinking that he's doing this on purpose to hurt her feeling, to be able to have control over her. That is the only way that you can say that's abusive, because she got to the point that she felt like, okay, so you're doing it on purpose to hurt my feeling, knowing this kind of communication.
Yeah,
will
but this
hurt me.
is where women never take responsibility. If they're the ones who know what's happening and they're describing it as XYZ, in this case abuse, they have some weird excuse to stay in the situation, right? Every time.
She left. She said that she left, but that's how she got to the conclusion that he was trying to abuse.
Was she abusing me?
Her.
I felt abused by this woman
She was not answering.
who
the question.
refused to just like answer my question.
Is that
Yo,
abuse?
No,
yo,
you
chat.
were
Am I
abusing her.
am I an abuse
Wait,
victim?
she says you're abusing.
I
her.
heard
Yeah.
that. She says that I was abusive towards her.
Because she already told you, like, she, like, even
Yeah, she didn't
if
answer
it
the question.
was
She didn't answer the question.
Let's say, like, she